Right.
Yeah, in the lower left,
What did you say?
take it off speakerphone.
Okay. No. Says iPad 2. Okay. Okay. I just pushed my home button, turned everything off. How about now?
Perfect. Hey, Tom, this is Greg. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hello, Greg.
Excellent. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got it. And I know this, this whole thing. Oh, this is, yeah, that's me. With the capital and then in the middle.
Make no mistake, the bill is not only unconstitutional, it federalizes the implementation of elections. It usurps the state.
I don't see a mute. I don't see a screen. I don't see a screen yet.
Is that me? Oh, okay. Yeah, what are you talking about? On the Silver Tree?
get started on this at any time soon? I mean, is it 7 o'clock, 7:06?
We are, it's just we're trying to get all the technology set, so then we'll get started.
He's on the amendment.
What are you, Dan, what are you trying to get on Zoom?
And the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
The Wi-Fi is knows it. I sent it to you as text. Oh, it's a text. I sent it there just the.
you got a copy? Okay.
Well, I sent it to him as a V card, but didn't get the V.
Hey, get the big, okay. Can you get on there, Dan? Get on there, go ahead.
Trying.
We're just about there. So. How you coming, Dan? You good?
I'm not on yet, but that's okay. I'm working at it.
Okay.
You could do.
Well, if we can, we'll just turn the computer so they can see you. And as long as you speak into the mic, we'll be okay. Okay, Christina, you ready? Okay, let's call this meeting to order. It is March 16th. It's the Elbert County Planning Commission. The time is, what do we have, 7:09? So if we could start the meeting, could I ask everybody to stand and we'll do a prayer and a pledge, please?
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. We know that you're with us at all times, in all places, if only we turn to you in faith. And so we turn to you now, seeking your continued blessings on those of us who have chosen public service, as well as those who are with us tonight in person or through Zoom to join us in our deliberations and decision-making. We ask that you would give us patience and commitment to respect and to listen to each other. For the members of this commission, help us always to be mindful that we are public servants. Help us to hear with our hearts and to think clearly and reasonably. Help us to have the vision to look at the issues before us with wisdom and the determination to do what is best, even if it's not easy. Tonight, we also ask your blessings. Ask your blessings on all those who support the work. Mission. Loving Creator, we pray all these things in the name of Jesus.
Let me see here. Sure.
Yeah, I'm muted and the mic is off. It's giving me.
Was it you?
I can't get on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We found out. All right. All right. Christine, if we could roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Present?
Here. Here. Here.
Six, we're good? Okay. Six? All right, thank you. We have a quorum. All right. Let's go on to staff report. Christina, do you have anything to report?
Sure that will be heard. I only have one thing on here, and that's update from the February 24th, 2021 BOCC meeting, the Ricci rezone, which was approved.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. We have nothing on the consent agenda, I don't believe. All right, at this time, actually have citizen comments. Now, the citizen comments at this point in the meeting are for anything unrelated to the applications that are being heard tonight. So if you have anything that's not related to those, please. Seeing none? All right. I think we'll probably have some when our applications come up. We've got a set of meeting minutes from February 16th. Okay. Did anybody get them?
Nobody got it.
Did you look at them? You guys go through them?
I did not go through. I did not.
You good with them? Okay, because they were in the packet, and I kind of looked through them. Okay,
I haven't seen it.
so who's all gonna abstain?
I need to say I wasn't.
Yes, you do, 2, 3, we won't have enough. So we'll put them on them for the next meeting, Christina. Okay? We won't have enough. All right. So now we're going to go into our public hearing process. Let me go over just a few things, what our commission is about and the process. First of all, we're a volunteer group. Planning Commission, what we do, we're a quasi-judicial board. Essentially what we take the application at hand, we judge it based on our codes and ordinances that we have in the county. That's what our job is. 3 things come out of this committee. We can either vote for approval, denial, or approval with conditions. What approval means is that we're actually not approving the document or the application. We're approving or recommending that it be approved to go forward to the Board of County Commissioners. they have the authority to make changes, to do stuff, anything else. We have very little authority in this group. So again, we can approve, but it's recommend to approve. We can deny, recommend to deny, or we can recommend to approve with conditions. And conditions are things that we could add to each application. So the process works. First of all, first presenter is our county staff. What they will do, they will present the application, go through the view of it. Then we'll ask the applicant to then participate, present their side. And then at that point, we'll ask for citizen comments. We'll take notes on all the citizen comments. Then we'll go back and ask the applicant to maybe, if questions come up within those comments, we'll go back and see if we can get some clarification for things that were questioned. After the citizen comments are done and we've had a chance to have the applicant rebut the items or whatever's brought up, then we'll question the applicant or staff depending on what the board has. And at that point, we vote. After that's completed, we vote as the way I mentioned before. Okay, so to start, I think the first hearing we have set up is Shady Tree Services. This is an SUR 19-0130, special use by review. So if we
Danny,
could,
real quick.
presenting that, Greg?
Yeah, can we go ahead and do Miller Ranch first? Is that okay?
Do we want to do Miller Ranch first? Because there's two filings.
Yeah, I think the applicant wanted to make a couple comments. He's here tonight.
Is he?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion.
Well, let's amend the agenda to do that. We'll do, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to do the Miller two plats.
Two plats first? Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay. Any discussion? No, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so the first one that will be up will be Miller Ranch filing number 2. So you mentioned that the applicant wanted to make a comment.
Yes.
Okay.
He's here tonight. Go ahead, CJ.
Mr. Kurz, go ahead.
Yeah, we're not going to have a full hearing tonight. We were informed this morning, I guess late morning, that the staff is still looking at the Metro District Service Plan, which was originally approved back in, I want to say 2007, and possibly an item related to the zoning, the original zoning of a development guide agreement, which frankly, for me, that was all news to me. I didn't know that that was outstanding stuff. And so there's been some discussions about continuing tonight until those things have been reviewed and resolved. So I believe that that's what staff is prepared to do, is to reschedule this for a date certain. Staff talked a little bit about allowing enough time to get through all this, and we don't want to let too much time go. Speaking specifically with the Millers themselves, they would prefer that we're only talking about a month continuation.
Can you get everything together?
Well, we know that we have some updating to do on the service plan, which we don't expect that to take too long and to get it into the county's hands for their review. We think we're going to have to set up a meeting with obviously staff and potentially county attorney to talk about the zoning situation, since that is somewhat news to us that would be required, given the fact that we are where we are today and it's never come up before, and filing one's been recorded already. So we think we can get that all resolved here in the next 30 days.
So Christina, do you have a date? What, well, you don't have the whole packet. It's, here, I did see the
Yeah, we'll make it work.
okay, all right, yeah.
All right, Danny, so I think we've
Okay.
identified a date,
What do you got, Greg?
May 4th,
May 4th?
correct?
Okay. Mr. Kirst, will that work?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so, but we need, if we're going to do this, I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we,
We're gonna have to do it on each file. I think we probably have to do it on both
Okay.
files.
I'll make a motion that we continue the Miller Ranch filing number 2 until a date certain of May 4th.
Okay? You got a second? You get that? Peter made the motion. We had a second from Dan or Roger, either one, both. Okay,
And then
all right.
I'll make a motion that we continue the Miller Ranch filing number 3 until a date certain of May 4th. And I'll
Got a second? Same? Okay, so we've got two motions. First motion, is there any discussion on the first motion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, second motion was filing 3. Any discussion on filing 3? Aye. Okay. All in favor? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, so with that, folks, if you were here for the Miller Ranch development application, that is going to be continued until May 4th. May 4th. Okay, and if you didn't hear, it was based on, not sure the zone, he mentioned zoning issues and material that needs to be added to the application. So, I think I got them both, right? Okay. Figured it, yeah, figured it, quite a few people. It will, yeah. If it. Okay, so now we're at, before we're on that one, let's go to Shady Tree Services. This is an SUR 19-0130. We could, I think first we'll have the our county staff.
You got it. Thank you, Danny.
Please.
All righty. Appreciate it, commissioners. Good evening, everybody. I'm Greg Laudenslager of Community and Development Services. Tonight, we're taking a look at Shady Tree Service, Special Use by Review, SU-19-0130. This is a request for a special use by review to allow for a tree and lawn care service located on approximately 9.091 acres located at 1249 County Road 166, Parker.
Greg, it's not coming through on Zoom.
Okay, give me 1 second here, folks. There we go. One more, please. Thank you. The property owner is Ron Hildebrandt. Ron Hildebrandt is also the applicant. Size of the property is 9.091 acres. A pre-application meeting was held December 5th, 2019. The community meeting was waived in the pre-application meeting. A formal application was submitted June 25th, 2020. And the referral process ran from August 31st to September 21st of 2020. That's a 21-day referral. The Planning Commission is tonight, March 16th, 2021. And this case will be heard by the Board of County Commissioners on April 14th, 2021. The notice of public hearing was mailed to property owners within 1,320 feet of the subject property boundary on February 26th, 2021. Public notice sign was posted on property March 1st, 2021. And notification was published in the Elbert County News on February 25th, 2021. Here we have the notarized certification of mailing. Here we have the notarized certification of sign posting with a photo of the sign posted on property. And last, the affidavit of publication. Here's a vicinity map of the property. You can see Stinging Hills. And here's an area zoning map. And if you zoom in there, most of the properties kind of around that area are either RA or RA1. There are some areas of planned unit development and also some commercial across the street. Applications for this were sent to the referral agents per the Elbert County regulations. Responding referral agents were the Elizabeth Fire District, who has no objection. They did ask for 6 conditions of approval that I will get to here at the end. The Colorado Division of Water Resources has no objection. They do have the one condition of approval that if the well is to be used for commercial uses, it needs to be re-permitted. The applicant has specified that no water will be used with this SUR. The Elbert County Building Department has no objections. Kiowa Conservation District has no objections. Colorado Geologic Survey has no objections. And Intermountain Rural Electric Association has no objections. Impact fees. Impact fees are applicable to any structures associated with this use. This includes the current residence if a change of occupancy is ever required by the building department. As of now, there are no structures being proposed as part of this SUR, and therefore impact fees are not applicable at this time. If structures are added or a change of occupancy is required, then impact fees will be assessed at that time. Special uses by review are evaluated utilizing criteria listed in Article 3E5 A through H of the Elbert County zoning regulations. Criteria A, whether the use is in harmony and compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. The location of the tree and lawn care use being proposed is well suited for a low impact commercial use as it is directly adjacent to the County Road 166, which is also known as Singing Hills Road. B, whether the use will not have an undue burden on available infrastructure. The use being proposed requires very little electricity and does not require any water. The Colorado Division of Water Resources has stipulated that the existing well, number 148279, would need to be re-permitted as a commercial well if it is to be used for commercial uses associated with this special use by review. Criteria C, whether the use will not unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. It is not expected that these proposed uses will unduly increase traffic congestion on County Road 166. Criteria D, whether the use will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. The uses being proposed will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. Furthermore, the applicant has expressed a strong commitment to utilizing best practices to mitigate noise and light pollution. Criteria E, whether all sanitation requirements will be met. Elbert County Health and Human Services, now known as Elbert County Health Department, has indicated that the proposed use does not require restroom facilities. Criteria F, whether the use will be adequately landscaped, buffered, and screened. The uses being proposed are adequately buffered by the 16 ponderosa pines that are proposed as part of this special use by review. Criteria G, whether the use will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present and or future inhabitants of Elbert County. The Elizabeth Fire Protection District has reviewed this application and has determined that all requirements have been met. Additionally, the applicant has detailed plans and procedures to both prevent and respond to emergencies. And criteria H, whether supplemental standards are met for specific uses as applicable. And there are no supplemental standards for this type of land use. In addition to Elbert County zoning regulations, staff reviewed the application against the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, and the proposed use of the property is supportive of the stated goal that, quote, Elbert County promotes strong, diverse economic development, and the policies of that goal being EG6, that the county should support the development of agriculture, commerce, industry, education, healthcare, natural resources development, tourism, and residential growth. Findings and recommendation. 1, this use is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. 2, this use meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. 3, the Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to this application. 4, this use is compatible with existing and allowed land uses in the surrounding area. And 5, this use will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend that the Board of County Commissioners approve SU-19-0130, subject to conditions. Condition 1, the applicant will be required to remove public hearing signs within 7 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, the special use by review will not become effective until conditions of approval are met and documents are recorded. 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation is to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners approval. 4, if the applicant builds new buildings or new businesses are added to the property, fire department review and or impact fees may be assessed at that time. 5, a turnaround size to the satisfaction of the Elizabeth Fire District will be provided near the wood bank area. 6, wood storage area may be subject to annual fire inspection by Elizabeth Fire District. 7, all buildings may be subject to an annual fire inspection by Elizabeth Fire District. 8, the applicant shall install 2A-20B-C fire extinguishers within 50 feet of travel distance. 9, the applicant shall plug all electrical equipment into permanent wiring. 10, all storage will be neat and not within 24 inches of ceilings. 11, all exit doors will be accessible for exiting. 12, flammable liquids will be stored in proper containers. 13, all outdoor light fixtures associated with the uses permitted by the special use by review are to be on motion sensors and properly shielded from adjoining and adjacent properties and any street right-of-way. And 14, all commercial well permits shall be, a commercial well permit shall be obtained if water is to be used for the commercial uses associated with this special use by review. And number 15 is actually an error. It should be only 14 conditions of approval. Thank you.
Okay. We received some information, Greg. I think you sent some information to us.
Sorry, Dan, can you speak up?
Did you, we received some information. I think you just sent some through email.
Yeah, the recorded covenants, I did send the recorded covenants. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You sent those.
Yep.
And then was there something else? Was there?
Yep, public comment as well. Commissioners received the public comment. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. I wanted you to be sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
At this time, second part was the applicant, Mr. Hildebrand. I think is the applicant. Yes, sir. Would you like to present? Yeah. Do you have anything to add? Do you have? Okay.
Not much different than what we're doing now, but we would like to expand our business in that location and that corridor.
Okay.
As far as that goes.
Okay.
Don't have any other comments unless you have any questions you want me to answer.
We probably will, but what I would ask is, I think we've got a number of people who want to speak.
Okay.
If you could listen to the things that come up, you may be able to help with addressing some of the things that may come up in public comment.
Sure.
Okay?
You bet.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, what we'll do, this is for citizen comments related to this application. So what we would ask is that first you give us your name, your address, and then please, we request that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. If we could kind of stay in that vicinity, it would be helpful. Okay, so looks like first one we have Mr. Turner, Ron Turner. I think you're first on the list here.
Okay, I am Ron Turner. My address 1105 County Road 166. This is a Parker address, 80138, but it's Elbert County. Good evening. I would like to thank you, planning commissioners, for the work that you do. Having been a county commissioner, I know how much work it is to do a review of land use. I hope you had time to an opportunity to read the letters and emails that we sent. You should have at least 5 documents that reject this SUR application. And if you've read my letter, you see some of the history that we've had with Shady Tree in the past when they tried to create a PUD on this RA1 zone lot. And this was back, started in October of 2011. CDS, the planning commissioners and Board of County commissioners have done a really good job with update of the Elbert County zoning regulations. And I reviewed these in relationship to this SUR. I would like to refer you to Article 2, Section F2. Applicants are required to have a community meeting, but the CDS director may waive the community meeting, Article 3, Section E3. And there was no community meeting and no reason was given to us. There's very little transparency in what has occurred here. This application actually started in December 2019, and we got notification via mail March 1st, 2021. And I would refer you to Article 5. And it's important. The details, it details the land use table. And there is no allowance for a shady tree type business. Article 5, Section C allows CDS director to add potential SURs, but this determination shall be made in writing and shall be applicable to the specific proposal and site. I've not seen this written determination. Maybe you have it in your packets. This determination would be very difficult to write because Shady Tree's application is not similar to and compatible with uses specifically named within the particular zone district. Lot 4 is zoned RA1 and is residential agricultural. Article 4, Section C1 gives purpose of a residential agricultural context is to promote low to medium density residential development while preserving working agricultural lands. And a lot of us have horses, and I don't have any children, but we've got some new folks that have children, and I can see them working 4-H. Interesting, the narrative for this SUR is very light in information. Well, one of the letters that you'll look in your packet from Ron Hildebrandt to the Elbert County Commissioners dated June 12, 2020 concerns me greatly. This letter requests the possibility to rent, lease some space to like service companies. This request seems to be somewhat open-ended. The Shady Tree business does not meet the characteristics of Meadowlark subdivision with zoning of an RA1 and RA. I would please recommend to deny this SUR. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe next is Chris Elbert.
Copies of a letter. And I'm Chris Siebert, and my wife, Ellen Siebert, is standing beside me. She was actually next on your list. We're just going to speak together.
Your address, sir? Where are you?
Yeah, it's 1079 Singing Hills Road.
Okay.
Members of the Planning Commission, my wife and I reside at 1079 Singing Hills Road, immediately adjacent to the proposed Shady Tree special use. We moved to Elbert County in 2007 and purchased this particular property because of its rural location and the surrounding agricultural equine community. We are opposed to the Shady Tree SUR in its current format for the following reasons. The SUR is incompatible with the surrounding land uses. Per the zoning regulations, the special use should be in harmony with and compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. The property of the proposed SUR is part of the Meadowlark subdivision, a residential subdivision of 10-acre plots. The properties on all sides of the SUR are all single-family residences. All properties within the Meadowlark subdivision are designated RA. Residential agricultural context is defined in the Elbert County regulations with the following purpose and intent: to promote low to medium density residential development while preserving working agricultural lands. Non-commercial farming, open space, ranching, and agriculturally related uses are allowed accessory to a primary residence. The SUR as a commercial business does not fall within this purpose and intent. The Meadowlark subdivision is a covenant-controlled residential community, and the SUR is in direct violation of the Meadowlark covenants as recorded with Elbert County, March 30, 1988. The owners of the SUR property do not reside on the property and thus do not have an understanding or interest in the effects this development will have on the surrounding community. The owners of Shady Tree indicate in their proposal that they want to sublet their property to other commercial entities. This is wholly inappropriate in a residential subdivision. The Meadowlark subdivision is a residential agricultural context, not a commercial or industrial context. Shady Tree previously attempted to change the permitted use of this lot via planned unit development in 2011 and was denied. This is the same request as the PUD, restructured and repackaged as an SUR. This request should also be denied on the same basis as the previous request. Shady Tree purchased their property knowing it was a residential subdivision zoned RA with covenants. This is not a commercial area. If Shady Tree wants to establish a commercial enterprise, we encourage this, but they should purchase property already zoned commercial to accomplish this. Our homes are our biggest investment, and the commercial development interests of a residential property owner should not override the interests and property values of the surrounding property owners in what is a designated residential subdivision. This is not an application of a homeowner who lives on site wishing to sell something like wood crafts or furniture out of their garage as a hobby. The landowners here want to run a full-fledged commercial enterprise at a location they do not reside at. a commercial enterprise with heavy equipment and that generates significant debris. This is going to have a significant impact on the surrounding residential community, and we request it be denied. And thank you for hearing me. And there is additional items in my letter that I didn't speak to, and I hope you'll take the time to read that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Nancy Turner, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good evening. My name is Nancy Turner. I reside at 1105 County Road 166, also known as Singing Hills Road. In Meadowlark subdivision, this is a platted covenant RA1 subdivision. Meadowlark subdivision is one of the oldest subdivisions on Singing Hills Road in Elbert County. There are 6 lots in this subdivision. Mr. Hillebrand has lot 4. Lot 4 borders all of the other lots. Mr. Hillebrand knew when he purchased lot 4, it was zoned RA and RA1. The residents of lot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are located at the front of each lot. The back part of each lot is where the people enjoy the rural lifestyle Elbert County offers, property zoned RA and RA1. Our back property has a pond. When we have normal moisture, it fills with water. Herons stop at the pond for a day or two on their migration. There are wild geese and ducks that use that pond. The ducks nest and raise their ducklings. Red-winged and yellow-winged blackbirds nest all along the willows of each of our subdivision properties. There are turtles along the banks, and there are frogs that serenade the whole subdivision with their love songs. Red-tail and barn owls hump these properties, and there are deer, foxes, and coyotes. I know not everyone's favorite, but I enjoy watching them. The SUR Mr. Hillebrand has submitted is not a small business endeavor that will take place in the residence of Lot 4. This is an industrial style business that will use 9+ acres. There will be industrial vehicles, machinery, and chemicals that are used in a tree service business. There will be truckloads of dead trees and debris dumped on the property to be processed and stored. 16 ponderosa pine trees will not mitigate the noise or the visual of this industrial business. Instead of frogs serenading the subdivision, it will be the sound of wood chippers and other industrial machinery. This will affect the property values of all the other residents of the RA1 subdivision. Elbert County officials worked hard to create an ECDZ zone. It specifically excludes platted subdivisions. The proposed SUR for Lot 4 is not in line with residential agriculture subdivision. It is for this reason I request you deny the SUR for Lot 4 of Meadowlark subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a Joe Atwell. Did I get that right? Okay.
I'll be short. I agree with everything that they said. You'll see a lot of, turn it on. Oh. Okay, better.
There we go.
Okay, so I agree with everything they said. I moved here, I'm a native Coloradan. I moved here late November. It was obvious that there was some sort of a tree cutting operation there. I thought that was cool, just that people get the opportunity to live and work and be free. Finding out that the gentleman presenting this application doesn't actually live at the property. He's not trying to expand his business at his residence. He's doing it in my backyard. My deck overlooks his property. My hot tub overlooks his property. The way things stand now, it does not bother me one bit. The idea of subletting out the property to like businesses so that they can park their equipment there, their whatever they want there. I mean, this application is very vague. It looks like the kind of thing that could run away quickly. I'm investing several $1,000s this summer in landscaping, tree lines, windbreaks. This isn't really what I signed up for, and I didn't expect it in a residential agricultural zoning that I did sign up for. So I won't go on and on about it. You got plenty of it there in front of you to review. I hope you think about it. You know, is this something that you would really want going in your backyard, or every time that you're getting in your hot tub with the family, you're looking over and seeing commercial trucks, piles of wood chippers, on and on. But I think it's clear how we feel about it in our subdivision. That's another very important thing. It is a subdivision. It is a residential area, clearly, if you drive down the road and look at it. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys vote no on this. It's clearly not in the spirit of how things were set up there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We have Dalton Lockman. On Zoom. We have a Dalton Lockman. He signed up here, so it might have been on. It could have been. Thank you. Dalton and Lisa, so they were probably on. Lisa Callaghan. Elise Callaghan, no. Michael Wagner. Dave Blegan. And Brenda Flips. No. So these must have all been for Miller Ranch. So, all right. Do we have anybody else here in-house who would like to speak? Okay, how about, do we have anybody on Zoom?
Yes, sorry, I had my hand raised. Would you like me to just speak?
Yes, go ahead. Please.
Let me see if I can get. Good evening, thank you. My name is Alyssa Teskey. My address is 1047 Singing Hills Road. Thank you, commissioners, for considering us and being there this evening. We appreciate it. My husband, who is currently at work, and I would like to submit our comments. We also sent a letter, and we do hope that you have had time to read them and consider our opinions. We are very concerned with this application, as our neighbors have said, and they are much more versed in the articles, so I will keep it short. This is an attempt to bring into the county zoning rules their business that they have been running. Our concern is the leased land to like businesses. Our property is lot 2. It is directly bordering the lot where their proposed leased area is. without any community meeting or communication from Shady Tree, we do not know what is going to be there. There is no regulation, there's no plan. Will there be large equipment? Will there be debris? How will they mitigate if this debris is diseased or sprayed, or will it be coming into our property? I think those are our concerns, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody else on Zoom? I do not see anyone. Greg, do you see anybody?
I'm not. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to speak, please go ahead and either raise your hand or unmute yourself and go ahead and speak, please.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Katie Myers. I live in Brittany Ridge, which is way out on 154 and 21. And I didn't actually come here for this part of the meeting, but I stayed for it. And having listened to the owners that live next to this property, I want to stand up for someone who does not live next to that property. I can understand their concern from a noise and in a business perspective. You're trying to enjoy your backyard, and all of a sudden what you thought was someone's residential property where they were enjoying their backyard, all of a sudden becomes a business. So I object to it for that reason. But for me personally, more importantly, having to drive on 166 into work or to go shopping, I would not want there to be turns into that business without proper turn lanes, because any amount of traffic going into that property is going to slow the regular traffic. And that's really all I had to say. Thank you.
Katie, thank you. Okay. All right. Do we have anyone else?
I'm not seeing anybody, Danny, and it looks like all the people on phones are unmuted, so it looks like everybody does have the opportunity to speak up if they'd like to. If there's anybody on Zoom, now's your chance to speak. All right, Danny, I'm not seeing any. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, there was a couple things that came out. See, equipment, extent of your business. It sounds like a lot of people are questioning, okay, what type of equipment's going to be there? To what degree? How commercialized is this going to become? How much of the area? Because you've got an application that shows us kind of a smaller part of your lot with offsets and shielding and stuff. So I think there's quite a few questions as to what your business is going to actually entail, how much traffic it's going to create.
I don't think it's going to create a lot of traffic. I know Elbert County has, through their zoning and that has kind of cracked down on a lot of home-based businesses in the area, which they should have. And there's so much development going on that a lot of these, may need some place to park light equipment. There's not going to be anything heavy in there. We're not talking great big commercial yellow equipment or anything like that. If I have a chance to, rent a little space out to help pay for things, I think Shady Tree is good for the community. We really help take care of the forest here in beautiful Elbert County. Elbert County's been good to us. And along with that, we try to give back as much as we can to the community. We do have a pile of Christmas trees out there every year that we donate our time and energy and funds into a community recycling program for free for any residents in that area.
Along with that, though, we do generate some wood because we are a tree service. In the past, we've tried selling firewood many times, and there's absolutely zero money in it, and along with the effort that goes into it. So we just decided to take a cue from some other communities back east, and we started a wood bank. That takes up a large portion of that area. And the community wood bank is, we don't actually sell firewood. We started this a year ago, and we cut, split, and our time, our funds, and we donate that wood to citizens in need in mostly Elbert County, but Douglas County too. We do all of Douglas and Elbert County, and it's crazy how much of that program has taken off this year. We've actually donated free delivered firewood to dozens and dozens and dozens of people in Elbert County. Our son does live on the property, so he is part owner, not legally, but will be. I think we're aware of what's going on. We try to be good neighbors, take care of things. But we would like to expand our business, and that's pretty much a commercial corridor, and it's, we're going to leave the back half of that property open for wildlife. That part we agreed on, at least some of it. Is there any other questions I can answer? Hey, you guys good?
On the site plan, on part of the back area, it says like contractor storage area. Would you explain that?
As far as maybe renting out some few spaces to some like companies, maybe tree service, maybe some landscapers. If we need to fence it in, we can fence it in. If we need to plant more trees, we can plant more trees to be good neighbors. Whatever it takes to come upon an agreement with everybody.
So essentially, that could be a rental or lease kind of a situation.
Well, we could rent some, hopefully we could rent some space out, yeah. Generate a little income, but hopefully we won't need to do that. Hopefully it'll just be our equipment if our company grows enough.
Another question, what equipment do you presently have on the property?
Chipper trucks, chippers, spray trucks.
How many?
Oh, there's maybe 6 or 8 pieces of equipment on there now. We didn't get turned down. We didn't get denied on the last zoning issue. There was just so many issues and the permits expired. I just wanted to make that clear. So all the permits, they expired and we just didn't reapply for them.
What about questions? Yeah, what about all the piles of chipped material and tree material? What are you going to do with that? Where's it going to?
We don't ever really store any chip. We don't really sell trees or anything like that. We just service our clients' trees and commercial, residential. It's kind of an agricultural business, if you will. And the chips we dump off site. We don't store them on site. For the most part, that's what we've done. The firewood, we try to, obviously get rid of that as it goes. We give it away. The firewood we have there, or the wood piles that we have there now, actually, they've been splitting large piles of firewood. And like I say, we have just delivered dozens and dozens and dozens of loads of free firewood to citizens in need in Elbert County. So I think that's a growing program there.
How much do you see that expanding over what's already there?
Well, by the needs of that firewood program, I can see that expanding dramatically because we've only done it a year and we've just really, as far as size goes, it's not going to engulf the whole property by no means. It comes in, it goes out, it gets split up, it goes out as far as that goes. And we paid, haul off the slash, that type of thing. Or we have trucks that we do it with ourselves, if it gets to that point.
So I have a question here. How much chipping or cutting do you do on site?
We really don't. The only chipping, well, we cut up the firewood. I take that back. We do cut up the firewood on site. But as far as chipping, we don't really do a lot of chipping. The most chipping I think we've done is for the Christmas tree recycling program that we sponsored for that area, Elbert County area, and the surrounding rural area. And that doesn't require much. It's a half a day's worth of chipping.
So you say you don't generate a lot of noise or disturbance like that, and you work reasonable hours, 8 to 5, roughly. You're not going to be working into the night or anything like that.
Yes.
How long have you been operating now?
Excuse me?
How long have you been operating now?
Well, we've been, I guess you by right, we've been operating out there for several years.
Kind of the same operation
Basically the same operation, yeah. I don't see it growing by leaps and bounds anytime in the near future. That would be nice, but it is kind of a commercial corridor. I mean, you have the fire department, you have the Colorado Lining commercial across the street, you have Elbert County. Most of these residents look out at the Elbert County transfer substation there, and that's, that's part of that corridor right there, and the school and everything else. So we've been there quite a while. We're not trying to run all the neighbors off or, run the neighborhood down by any means. We can plant trees or put up fences or whatever it takes.
Dave, please.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. I got to figure out this mic here, not to get too loud. If I understand your business, you run around and take care, cut down trees, trim trees for people all over the city. You bring the wood back, then you give the wood away. Is that correct?
Pretty much correct. We try not to bring it back if we don't have to, but yeah, at times
you do bring it back.
A lot of people in Elbert County use firewood.
And I have a question here, because when you bring the wood back to Elbert County, specifically, I'm going to speak to the pine beetle problem that we have. Do you bring back and do you treat the wood that is, shall I say, beetle kill?
Do we treat the wood? We do treat the wood, but we try not to bring back
with chemicals.
We try not to bring back any beetle.
Right. Well, what I'm concerned with Elbert County, since we live in a county full of ponderosa pines, and occasionally you're going to run into trees that have died, and you are going to bring back wood. Transporting wood per the USDA and others, they want you to move wood, but then I have strict rules about covering it, spraying it, killing the pine beetle since it doesn't die, and the possibility of bringing contamination to our trees that are living in this county is a question. I'd like you to speak to that. And if you are not treating the wood or you're not bringing them back, I'd like to understand what the process is.
Well, not all wood is contaminated, but
no, I understand that, but we are there when a tree is dead and you get a call, you're going to say, "Hey, I got this tree. Take it down." What killed it? Ips beetle, Rocky Mountain pine beetle. We got all kinds of things that could spread to this county.
There's 13 different types of Ips beetle in the state of Colorado.
I've lived here 50 years almost.
Yeah, this is my son Tyler. He might help me answer some of the technical questions.
I'm the chemical guy.
As far as treating the wood, the beetle lives directly underneath the bark. We encourage a lot, there's a lot of tree companies. Most of our work is in Elbert County out in that area. So we do more good than we do harm 100%. As far as treating trees, as far as.
Do you use chemicals?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, what are you using?
Permethrin for the most.
Okay, so you're covering with a fumigant. You got fumigant to kill the beetle.
Water as a carrier. And this particular chemical they actually apply to livestock. Cows, pigs, horses.
It's safe for livestock.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The recommended mixture
Okay.
rates do not bypass.
Okay, and I just wanted to understand, because this description I had in the packet didn't really describe your business completely. So you have chippers that you go out, so you can do a tree service all over.
Mostly Douglas and Elbert County,
Okay,
99% of our business.
so my next question is to staff. Why is this an SUR instead of a rezone?
Because it's not a use.
Well, really, I'm speaking, this is a subdivision. I'm asking a question for the entire planning commission. I'm looking at this, and this isn't a subdivision. It is really a subdivision, even if it's a minor. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, well, this begs to me, it begs for a rezone and also a traffic study. And I don't understand why we don't have a traffic study. He says there's very few, but it sounds like he comes back in and out of the property. So why did we get an SUR?
Well, I believe the applicant proposed a special use by review as opposed to a commercial rezone, as the SUR only allows for one particular use, whereas a commercial rezone opens it up to a number of different uses.
Yes.
So I'm not sure the applicant's motivation in that regard, but the SUR is less intensive of a use than a commercial rezone. So I think that's probably out of respect for his neighbors. The traffic letter is not required. Public Works did not start requiring that until recently. So this dates back to 2019 when we did not require traffic letters. So
I'm just, okay. So I have a question to the planning commission. I mean, I really, we did pass DEDZ. When we did economic development to zone, we placed it along Singing Hills Road as one of them, County Road 13, 158, and a lot of roads. One of the things we did exclude from the EDZ, because we did not want to get into the subdivisions, was anything that was a PUD, anything that was a subdivision would not be included in the EDZ. I kind of look at this as this is a subdivision, even if it is a minor and it's a small 5 lot, 6 lot, their lot one of the numbers doesn't exist. And I'm asking the question, this is just strictly, to me, okay, if this is a good commercial establishment, why aren't we looking at this as if this is going to go this way, why don't we just do a rezone and to try to get it through, have a community meeting, and actually do it would give community input. I think the lack of input, and if I quote some of this, no written determination, and not that's from Ron Turner, but I know that guy. And no, the meetings, people didn't have the input except right here. So I'm kind of looking at this as, I don't know, I'm just asking you guys to think about it. That's about all of my questions. And do you have anything you'd like to add to me? Because I'm looking at this as, this is a commercial job. You're working, there's a commercial thing right across the street. It's zone commercial. We need to have you zone commercial. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, that's my wife, Jen.
I'm done.
I'm Jen Hildebrandt. I own the property 1249 Singing Hills Road. The reason that we did not go with the rezone is because it does not fall under the EDZ overlay. That is what the county told us.
Because
That's why they suggested we go with an SUR.
We voted to keep it.
No, the reason I don't think it falls under the the EDZ is because it's a development. It's in a development. I think
it's in a development.
Yeah, so it can be.
But I mean, listen, Dan, we've approved businesses and SURs in developments all over. We have. Okay, one of the reasons I think is that one of the exclusions to the SUR
Hold on, Danny, can I address that comment that you just made? As far as we've approved businesses and developments.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Justin, go ahead.
We've approved businesses. We've approved the B business not long ago. We approved the business the other day for the thing. So, Justin, we do. But let me make a point.
So I don't disagree that we have. I think that there's a big distinction between a commercial business in a residential agricultural zoned area versus a agricultural small B business type business. There's a significant difference between those two. So I have a few questions regarding this SUR. Whenever is my turn, I would like to ask some of those, I guess.
But Justin, we don't even have you on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah. So how would you like
were
to?
Were you in roll call? Did we get Justin in there?
Nope. I wasn't able to get on till 7:30.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's add Justin to the roster if we could. All right. So first thing, the EDZ, and from what I remember, okay, the EDZ, there were exclusions for the EDZ and it had to do with developments, okay, subdivisions, PUDs, and those, and this being in a, I think is part of the Meadowlark, right? Meadowlark. Platted, okay. But it is a subdivision. It's a subdivision. So I think that's why it was not, it would be excluded from what you would call the EDZ. Yeah. Yep.
Agricultural.
Yeah. Well, it is a subdivision, but I mean,
Real quick, guys, can I remind everybody to please use the microphone?
Now, I just wanted to be sure, that's why the EDZ. Now, I think, Justin, you had some questions.
I do. Are you finished with the EDZ portion?
Yeah, I just wanted to go over that with the EDZ. Now go on, ask what your questions are.
So first, I'll apologize for my tardiness. That was unavoidable. Can you clarify for me why there's no community meeting that was required?
Let's have staff clarify that, because I think that was it's not required. They can, what is it, Christina, or like Greg, let staff answer that one.
SURs do allow flexibility to waive that meeting. Probably a little less than half of the time I've waived those, particularly if it's something that's been in existence for a number of years already. Part of that looking at, okay, it's already been there, we haven't received complaints.
So I want to make sure that I'm looking at the, dang it. I'm looking at the zoning regulations now. F-2, page 48, does make it a requirement to have a community meeting. So I'm a little confused on the waiver authority on that is Article 3, special processes. Under section B, community meeting, and it does require a written notice for that to be submitted and then approved by CDS. My second question, I guess, I don't know if you're still waiting on me, sorry. My second question is, when you look at the use tables, there's no specific guidelines for a tree operation, but I guess the question that I would ask the other planning commissioners is, when we look at considering what an agricultural business in a RA1 area consists of, those are, I guess my concern is, are we stepping outside when we consider a commercial tree company as an agricultural business? That are those two the same thing? I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think they are. How is this an agricultural business versus a commercial business?
Justin, in other counties, they do consider it to be agricultural.
We are licensed by the Colorado Department of Agriculture.
The only way I can work is to have that license from the Department of Ag.
And we meet strict guidelines.
So I guess I'm going to come back to, how is that not a commercial business? How is this not a commercial business?
Well, I don't know what you're trying to ask. We are running a business, yes.
We are running a business. We're trying to get a commercial well. I mean, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't. Oh. Well, that is one thing Justin brought up, but we said it was waived over in CDS. Because these people don't know what's going on. No, but it sounds like, the one thing I'm trying to figure out is, okay, you've had this business operational for how long?
Well, we've been there for.
We bought the house in 2008.
Like a lot of them out here. Yeah, I know. So they're just trying to make it legal now.
Yeah, it's by right.
Yeah. So how much is it gonna grow?
How much is Elbert County going to grow? That's our focus. And the growth that's coming on now is, the growth that's coming on now is going to take years to develop and have trees and have, so that's not something that's going to happen right away.
And then the other thing, I'm trying to kind of look at, you've explained that you go out and pick up trees and you bring them back. Where is your revenue coming from? Really, what is the biggest source of your revenue?
We do commercial and residential work. We take care of trees, plant health care, we trim trees, we remove trees, we spray trees. We fertilize trees.
So the majority of your business, and I'm getting to the point, the majority of your business is done off-site.
Yes.
Yep. Like 90%.
So all you're using this property for is for essentially storage?
Yes.
In the wood bank.
In the wood bank. Which has really been a huge benefit this first year to a lot of residents in Elbert County.
I don't know. You see a problem. I don't. Pine beetle light. Sounds like you treat trees. You essentially go around. Yeah.
I'm the chemical expert, the tree hugger, if you will.
Now then, the other question was, there was nobody living on site, but my understanding is you were going to be living there?
I do live there right now. Since 2015, October, I've lived there.
So we do have a residential running a business and, yeah. Just like we did with the RV repair, just like we do with a lot of the other ones that we have, just like we do with all I mean, it comes down to it. Granted, I understand. The thing that worries me though is, and I understand where you guys are coming from, is that you're looking at, you don't want something to grow to where you're going to overrun that piece of property with a bunch of crap. Really is what you're looking at, right?
Well, it won't happen on my watch.
Well, and that is one thing. Talk about the equipment that's going to be stored, because I know that's an issue with a lot of people here, is that, because I'll tell you, right up the street,
we have.
What equipment we reduce, or, I mean, it's like light equipment if we do any. And we can put up fences, we can put up trees for blockage. Some of the residents that are concerned can't even see the property from certain areas. They're surrounded by trees, but we can certainly plant more trees and
Make them grow.
make them grow. We know how to make them grow. That's what we do. We can put up some privacy fence. That's not an issue with us at all.
Well, I will give you guys a chance. I will give you, because I'm going to ask some questions of you.
So you're just going to be storing your own equipment? You're not going to be bringing anybody else's equipment in or doing a rental type thing?
We would like to rent out some space to maybe help pay for.
Okay, that's the next place I'm going to.
We have it on the map plan, but it'll be like light equipment. It's not going to be anything. There's not going to be no yellow iron in there. It's like light equipment.
Okay, now here's the thing. You're trying to get an SUR for your shady tree business. Okay, and that's your treatment, your servicing trees, bringing the trees back, taking care of that. Now what you're doing, you're asking to use other parts of that property now for leasing space. Okay. That's where I have a problem in seeing that if you're applying for the SUR for your tree business, that's appropriate. But now what you're looking at is you're using that property for also, you may want to sublease it out to, okay, we'll do an RV storage area.
No.
Sir, like businesses. However, when you go into that, that's different, and that goes outside of what the SUR, I believe, is pointed to, is specific for. The SUR is to by use that property as the use which you're looking, which the other goes outside kind of what I believe.
I don't know if it goes outside or not, but it all has to meet with you guys' approval, that's for sure.
And that also puts you more in a commercial realm. I'll take like a strip mall. Okay, I use one big building for one purpose, but then I break it up and I lease it off to different things. You turn it into, that's the problem I can see with this, is that, if you were strictly looking at your business.
Well, hopefully that's what it will be. I mean, I won't need to generate any income to help pay for a lot of the community services that we do, but whatever works for you guys and whatever works for the neighbors.
Well, do you guys see what I'm saying?
The SUR only allows its current business as it exists.
Yes, and that's what I'm getting. Go ahead, Dan, what do you think?
That's what it's for.
Yeah,
It isn't for a whole bunch of other businesses added to it.
Yeah, Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking if you got a condition that somebody else in there.
Okay, that's where I kind of wanted, that's where I was trying to go. Because using your SUR, you're trying to expand your SUR over purposes that aren't under that SUR.
Well, we would like to utilize as much
What do you got,
as
Christine?
we could.
So, Christina, I said that if you put another condition in that if they bring another business in, that it's got to be approved.
Well,
It has to be another SUR if they expand to do other things.
From me, I was going to see it. Yeah.
Hey, Danny, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, Justin, but did you hear what we discussed?
Yeah, I'm with you. So looking back at this use table again, and you look under the land use section, the very top section, use categories, I guess I would consider this solid waste by the definition. This is solid waste and or trash recycle facility then in some aspect of it. That's what they're doing. They're bringing branches back as solid waste, correct?
No, we're not bringing any branches back.
That falls under the firewood, in my opinion, would fall under the category of renewable energy.
Well,
we're
So,
not bringing
I don't
back.
know, I don't know, how do you classify firewood if they're bringing it back and then and actually giving it away?
We're actually giving it away.
They're not selling it, they're giving it away. I don't know if that.
How long has the firewood stayed on the property? A month, 3 months, 2 years? How long does the firewood stay on the property? Is it a long term or is it a short term? You know, is it 30 days, 60 days, 360, 1 year, 2 years? How long does it usually stay there?
Well, what we do use comes in and goes out as it's dried and ready to go out. So it just depends on how long that takes.
How much? How big?
I mean, sometimes it could go out in a couple months if it's split. Sometimes it could go out. It's never a huge pile. It's a big pile, but it comes in and goes out. If it gets to the point where we have too much of it, I mean, we'll just have to find another avenue to get rid of it, which is no problem. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as the community can use it and it helps a lot of people out, I say that's a plus for Elbert County.
I guess my other question is, did Elizabeth Fire classify the size of the pile that it can get to before it's a fire hazard or a fire?
Yeah, they've looked at it and they've considered that.
Because I could see that in a dry time as that could be a potential hazard. If that pile got too big, it'd be hard to if that pile were to say get struck by lightning, how would you get that put out in a reasonable time and manner without, if it got too large?
The good part about that is we're about less than a quarter mile away from that fire station.
Right, but do they have enough water trucks in that station to get it under control without having to call in a bunch of other agencies is where I'm kind of going at with that. Because water is limited in the rural areas.
Did he tell us how big, how much of an area you've consumed with firewood? How big? Just give me an idea how.
There might be 10 to 50 cords. I don't know.
So I would say between the logs that are whole, the logs that are cut into chunks that we can split, and the split firewood, I would say that would fit in about 1,600 square feet on the ground, or 1,500. And that's to say the least. At most, maybe 1,800. I mean, it's really not that big of a pile, and my boys do keep it stacked and nice.
Okay.
A couple thousand square feet, I guess, right in that area
No,
right now.
and that you're storing back here. Were you keeping that towards the front of the rear of the lot, or is that?
It's
there.
It's just.
No, mine won't show up there. No, Christina. Okay. All right.
Any more questions?
Well, Christina, did you find where it was appropriate to waive the community meeting?
We can just make that suggestion without having the other things. Willing to.
That's where we covered it right, but if that's a great idea, it really is.
With the permission. This is interesting.
We could, yeah.
This is.
Yes. I thought you said it. I did. I kind of had a note here, but so essentially we have, CDS had the option to waive.
Danny, we can't hear at all. Sorry. You're gonna have to do something.
Ron, if you speak, what we're talking about is why, Justin, why the community meeting was waived. And Mr. Turner here has brought up, he actually stated the article where it was in the code, was it why it could be, why it was waived. It is a prerogative of CDS. But then he was saying there needs to be a specific reason, and that's what we're looking at.
Can we exit this full screen by chance? Thank you.
So we're trying to find out the reason it was waived is where we're at. Christina, can you enlighten us on that one?
And again, that discussion we had on that when we had the pre-app is that they've been operating for a number of years, that they're trying to come into compliance, and that we didn't have any record of any complaints on file.
Has there been any complaints filed with the county? Have you, if you could.
Okay, this doesn't work.
Go up and, yeah, thanks, Ron.
You know, most of us in the subdivision consider ourselves good neighbors. And December of 2011, these folks started hauling in trees. And of course, they decided not to go with the PUD. So some of the trees left, but there's still a pile of trees down there. Again, having a sign out and having their equipment there is not that big of a deal. And I think Joe even mentioned that. But when you start having a commercial operation, then it becomes a big deal. Again, we didn't have any real complaints. The traffic didn't seem to be that bad, but they do make some noise. And I think one of our neighbors, she shows horses, and it affects her horse sometimes when she's out there trying to ride and condition this horse. So again, as a good neighbor policy, we haven't complained, and maybe we should have.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I'd like to just counter a couple things that were said by the applicants. First thing, and this is to no fault of their own, one of the things that is a challenge in this particular scenario, there's been talk about fences and trees. Unfortunately, their property is the low point in our neighborhood. All of our properties and our homes all sit up on a ridge and look down on their property. It is, I mean, it's great to hear their good faith that they would like to shield it. That is going to be an extreme challenge to shield it from our view, because you would need a fence of a significant height and trees of significant height in order to block our view of it. So, I appreciate their good faith offer there, but that's going to be a challenge because, again, they're in a low point. There's been discussion about wood being stored. There has been, that portrayal was not completely accurate. And if it's possible for us to bring up the map of the property again, I'd like to point out a couple things. So if we scroll to the north end of the property there, this area here that they have designated as not supposed to be part of this, there's already multiple piles of wood here that have been sitting there for years and years and years that I look right down on. And the third thing I want to bring out, reference those piles of wood, is that was beetle kill, which you brought up, that they brought in and was not treated properly or covered. And I've lost, on my property, I've lost 22 trees as a result of beetles, and that started a year after they brought that wood in. So, I mean, there's more to the story here. And I mean, if I'd known I was going to go down this route, I would have brought pictures of all this to show you guys. You know, unfortunately, you know, again, this is not how good neighbors treat their neighbors.
I have a picture of the rest of the wood Chris is mentioning in the back 40 if you want to see it.
Dan's worried about that. Go ahead and look at it, Dan.
This is the stuff Chris is talking about. So you see it's about. That's the rest of the property. So we got that. We almost have to put the fire 10 years ago. And then that's the wood pile.
Okay, okay, all right. I. Be open
As far as the beetle goes.
Go ahead, Roger, that'd be a good question. Hold on.
The chair entertain a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that we postpone or adjourn the hearing on this issue, subject to a community meeting with the applicant, the neighbors, the concerned neighbors, and planning staff, and then come back to us with a revised hearing date. I'll second that.
Christine, did you hear that? Because it, really, I mean, I think if you'd have just had a community meeting, and what I'm seeing in pictures, if you just met with everybody, it might have saved some of the animosity. So we've got a motion and a second. Justin, did you hear it?
I did.
Okay. It's a motion and a second to have the community meeting occur. And then once they complete that, then come back. Christine, can we do that? Well, we kind of are. We kind of are.
Mr. Chair.
But it would be a notice to, and that one
Danny, as discussion on that, I don't see that would be any inconvenience to the applicant because they're already
doing business.
So
Yeah.
they can continue as they are now, pretty much, and then have this meeting. And I think they should be able to resolve the issues and come back, and with staff involved, we could have other conditions applied to the application.
Okay. Go ahead, Dan, please.
This is pretty late in the game to be doing this.
It is.
Okay. We have a process, okay, and it's not their fault. They're not the ones that waived the meeting. Community development did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we have a process that says this, and this. And we're all the way down to the end of this thing, okay? And we're going to go back to the beginning?
Well, all we're doing is just going to conduct the community meeting. And
well, what good does that do? All you're going to do is you're going to hear the same thing.
Dan, the only reason I kind of think that might be a pretty good idea is because what I couldn't get was a real strong reason not to.
My reason, we're already at the end.
But you got an SUR, it's a business going in a residential area, and it's granted it's been going on. And I thought,
Okay. I'm fine. I've said my piece.
I get what you're saying. You got anything, Jason?
I kind of agree with Dan, but I see where I'm on the fence. I see it both ways. I see where, yeah, there should have been a community meeting and everybody could have weighed out the pros and cons, maybe mitigated some issues that there's been that, they've bit their tongue about. But at the same time, there's been notice. They should have filed complaints when they got the notice in the mail. that we want a community meeting and moved it from tonight. So I'm on the fence. I see it both ways.
Okay. You're kind of where, if we wouldn't have had so many people show up about this hearing, then I thought, that's why I thought, okay, this is one where probably community meeting might have been done some good. So. All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Justin, where are you?
I voted aye.
Okay. Aye. Okay. Good point, everybody, really. So, where it's at is that we will continue this until staff comes back, until gonna have to post a community meeting, have the meeting, and then we'll come back and I think that's what we'll recommend. I think it still goes to the BOCC, correct? No, I think it still goes to the BOCC with a recommendation that there is a community meeting. And I think that's how it goes. And check with that, Christina, but I think that's, because I mean, even if we recommend deny, it's still going to the board. But we continued it, but it doesn't really, all that means is we continue until after the meeting. It's still scheduled and set to go to the board.
Mr. Chairman, if this is to go before the board, I have another condition of approval I'd like to recommend before we vote that it goes before the board.
Well, we're not voting. We're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
Christine.
See, what I'm not sure, Christina, is you're gonna kind of have to figure out, since we stated to continue it until the meeting. Renoticing it may be, then that may not require, it may not go to the board, and that's something you'll have to check. Because I'm not sure, because I think it won't go. Then it will come back to us and then go. Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't take that.
We didn't take any action.
We didn't take action on the application.
No, it shouldn't. You're right. Okay. All right. So, Dan, essentially, we can't, there's no more motions on me. Yeah. Yeah. That you'll hang on to it. Yeah. Ron. Hang on to it.
A letter. Again, how will that community meeting be noticed so that everyone within that 1,320 feet is noticed so that they can attend this community meeting?
I think, go ahead. You guys are gonna have to answer that one. I think I know why, but no.
It'll go through the noticing requirements in the Elbert County zoning regulations, which is a mailing and a sign posted on property 14 days ahead of the meeting. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's where we're at. It'll be renoticed. It'll be a community meeting. And then we'll see you back here. Thank you.
Danny, before we move on, I did need to clarify that in the staff report, there was an error. It should say that the Elbert County Public Health Department does not require restrooms. In the staff report, it says does require restrooms. I need to clarify that should say does not require restrooms. That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Can we recess? Can we recess for about 5 minutes? That's all I can get on. That's what I couldn't figure out. Yeah, thank you. Hey, you seen it yet? Oh.
Vacation time for you. Where do you go in Utah? Where do you go?
Oh, we got I've been really kind that is dinosaur.
My reason to have it redone and finally looking at it.
Oh, geez.
Oh, let me show you. It seems a little cruel. Here, let me show you. I have to show you.
Come join me up there. The track, they are dated. The pink is to be like sand.
Thank you for listening.
Well,
So frustrating. It is. And for you folks, I can understand.
We had one neighbor up there, like,
by the way, what I'm hoping is these people other in the meeting.
Well, the thing is, we should have had a committee. We should have.
Nice, huh?
Man, that was good.
Oh, those are big. That's it. Mesa.
Yeah.
Down by Dennis.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I know.
Oh, when we were driving down there.
I love that area. I really like, we just came back. Actually, we took our anniversary with over to Ray. I really like that.
It's nice.
Yeah, even better to tell you.
Yeah, it is.
You've never been to Rose?
You been?
I have not.
No, you have not.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. Now I won't do it.
I lost one of my papers. Doing research, really small, because I used to get, that's how I used to go to Moab. To go over that little suspension bridge with the wood and the cables, built in 1910 or 1905.
Sounds beautiful.
It burns. It burns. I have a picture of my Dodge Charger on that bridge.
On the way down, we went past the buffalo herd. And in this buffalo herd, there were 3 white buffalo. I've never seen one. I've seen them on TV.
I've heard about them.
Yeah, I think I've heard. 3 of them. And I'm going, we're lucky.
I've never seen it.
3 white buffalo. Do they survive? Do they survive? I don't know.
For the first time, no. I saw my men 50 years ago. And they didn't throw a rock. It's bigger. Shit.
I can't tell it has such a. You read him. I don't know how to read. Chris knows when I was people came on. I think it's cute. Oh, that was in the fence. And he said, is everything all right, Nancy? And I said, I'm handling it. And he said, I can see that. And he said, then he was jumping in the crowd. And they went through the fence. And when they saw Jay, they said, oh, there's Diablo. And I said, how dare you call my dog the devil? And they looked at me like, you know, Spanish? I did. I just knew Diablo. That's my one word. That's that and Taco Bell. Oh, I was, and Chris was said to me, well, they would have not. You know what? Oh my gosh. I thought, where's the horses? I was terrified. Oh, I can't even. I mean, my heart sank. Yeah. I thought I was going to be sick. Yeah. And then I saw, and then I took off. I think these poor men were standing there. And the one said, no English. No, don't give me that. I know you speak English. I heard you. Don't tell me that. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I didn't know. I thought, and then I.
Okay, let's get back to, see if we got one more. We got another application. Yeah.
4 miles away. That's it. Okay, we'll get together. I'll buy you. You're in. I'm in.
Okay. Okay, let's get started. Folks, if we could, we've got another application we got to hear, so, all right. Thank you.
We'll work it out.
Okay, I think we've got another Linden, right?
Yep.
Yep. Rezone.
You could, you reconvene.
Recess for yes. Okay.
All righty. You guys ready?
Yep. Let's get started on the Linden rezone.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, commissioners. I'm Greg Loudensliger from Community and Development Services. We're taking a look at Linden, case number RZ-20-0062. This is a rezone of approximately 35 acres from Agriculture A to Agriculture Residential AR, located at 1735 County Road 194, Parker. The landowner is the Lyndon H. Scott Senior Family Trust. The applicant representative is Tom Maroney. The size of the property is 35 acres. It is located 1.82 miles east of the Delbert Road and County Road 194 intersection. It's at the very northwest corner of the county. A pre-application meeting was held July 23rd, 2020. Community meeting was held September 21st, 2020. And a formal application was made October 6th, 2020. The 21-day referral period began October 6th and ended October 27th. And the Board of County Commissioners will hear this on April 14th, 2021. Site description, it is a 35-acre tract of land located at the far northwest corner of, at the northeast corner of County Road 194 and Michael Gates Drive. Topography, this property has a maximum elevation of 6,112 feet and a minimum elevation of 6,017 feet above sea level. The site has a riverine wetlands that runs from south to north through the site. There are no mapped 100-year flood plans in the project area. There is a significant amount of riparian area on the project area that is designated as riverine wetlands area by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. There is a considerable amount of land that is suitable for building sites that will not disturb this riverine wetlands if approved. There are native ponderosa pines on the property, and native grasses typical of the high plains cover the majority of the site, except for the area classified as riverine wetlands by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Notice of public hearing was published in the Elbert County News on February 25th, 2021. It was mailed to property owners within 1,320 feet of the subject property boundaries on February 27th, 2021. And a public notice sign was posted on property February 27th, 2021. Here we have a sign of a public hearing posted on property with the notarized certification. Here we have the affidavit of publication and the notarized certification of mailing. Here is a vicinity map. You can see Aurora Reservoir is to the northwest of the site, and Parker is to the southwest of the site. Here's a zoning map. Douglas County, or excuse me, Arapahoe County, I'm sorry, is directly to the north across County Line Road. And the properties in this general area are zoned agricultural A, with properties to the east zoned RA1. Applications were sent to referral agents per the Elbert County regulations. Responding referral agents were the Elbert County Health and Human Services, no objection. Arapahoe County Public Works had no objection. They did request a drainage letter and a traffic letter. I'll get to those in a second here. Elbert County, or excuse me, Arapahoe County Engineering Services had no objection. The Colorado Division of Water Resources had no objection. You can see the attached letter. I'll get to that here in a second. And Intermountain Rural Electric Association had no objection. Phillips 66 had no objection. And New Star Energy had no objection. Article 3, C4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations lists review criteria A through F for all rezone requests. The 6 criteria are as follows. Criteria A, whether the proposed rezone conforms to and is generally consistent with the goals and policies of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. Proposed rezoning does comply with the goals and policies outlined in the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. Criteria B, whether the proposed rezoning is compatible with surrounding land uses. The land uses in the surrounding area are agricultural and single-family residential. These uses are compatible with the single-family residential use being proposed. Criteria C, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the provision of public services. And this proposal will not adversely impact the provision of public services. Criteria D, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the environment. The proposal will not unreasonably impact the environment. If approved, staff recommends that the applicant site structures and driveways in a manner that does not disturb areas of the site that are identified as wetlands by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Criteria E, whether the proposed rezoning would create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the existing road system without improvements. The proposal will not create an unreasonable increase in the amount of automobiles that travel along County Road 194 or Michael Gates Drive on a daily basis. And F, whether the proposed rezoning will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. And this proposal will not be unreasonably detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. Based on Article 3C4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations, staff finds the following. A, the proposed rezoning complies with the goals and policies outlined in the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. The land uses in the surrounding area are single-family residential. I went over these just a second ago. Here they are laid out. And in consideration of the staff findings above, and as we understand it, that there are no objections from other governing bodies, the recommendation of Community and Development Services is to recommend approval of Linden RZ 20-0062 to the Board of County Commissioners, subject to the following conditions. Condition 1, the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of a decision by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, the rezone shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the rezone exhibit is recorded. 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation is to occur within 180 days of the Board of County Commissioners approval. 4, Division of Water Resources provide a referral comment indicating that the referee ruling filed February 3rd confirms that adequate water can be provided without causing injury. I do want to add that the applicant did provide a signed version of this decree that shows the ruling, making this requirement not necessary. 5, Arapahoe County Engineering Services provides referral comment indicating that they have reviewed the traffic impact study and are satisfied with the findings. They have been referred twice on this without providing comment. Elbert County Public Works has reviewed these documents, being the drainage letter and traffic letter, and they are satisfied with the findings. We do just want to make sure that Arapahoe County does provide this final comment. Arapahoe County Engineering 6, Arapahoe County Engineering Services provides referral comment indicating that they've reviewed phase 1 drainage report and are satisfied with those findings. So again, really they haven't been responsive. I'll leave that to you guys, how you want to, if you do want to stipulate those conditions, but that would be what Community and Development Services has to make sure that they have been properly referred. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. I believe we have Mr. Maroney.
Yes, sir. Thank you, commissioners. That was an interesting little meeting, but thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much. I'll just touch on a few things. As Greg said, I sent him the decree that was issued by the court 2 weeks ago, as far as the water was concerned, and the state is fine with it. We, just for the record, we did have a community meeting. We did do a drainage study and a traffic study, which was Arapahoe County required. The drainage study and the traffic study both said there's no impacts. Arapahoe County has, and they got those studies probably at least 2 months ago, if I'm correct, Greg. And we did them right away. And again, there's no impact, but Arapahoe County hasn't responded. So if we want to wait for them to respond, I guess we can try to push them, but they're not really too interested in it. And that's just about it. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward situation. As far as the wetlands are concerned, first of all, we cannot even get a building permit for anywhere where that wetlands would be. And as Greg stated in his staff report, there's more than sufficient property to be able to put another single family house on. There's a single family house on the road right on 194 right now. And so there's just to create another lot, 17.5 acres and 17.5 acres. And that's about it. I'll answer any questions.
Okay. Let's see, I think we have some quite a few, we still have 18 people, looks like, or 19 people on Zoom. Do we have any public comment?
This is Karen Jones. This is Karen Jones, and I was, is this still, they're only requesting this to be divided into 217?
I am having, can you guys understand her? I am having a hard time understanding you. I can't make that out. Your name?
Is Karen Jones? Can you hear me?
Jones?
That's correct.
Okay.
And so my question is, how many homes are they adding to this 35 acres?
How many homes? Just one right now is what.
Can I answer that question?
Yes, go ahead, Tom, please.
There's one single family home on the property right now. Mr. Linden, unfortunately, has passed away. He's owned that property for quite some time, and his estate is settling it right now. And so we're creating one other lot of 17 and a half acres, and then the house with 17 and a half acres. So it'd be one single family residence on the new lot. Just one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
Okay, do we have anyone else on Zoom?
Yes, please. DeLoss Searles. We live just south, 1745 Michael Gates Drive. If I can ask Mr. Maroney, what is your role in this? You said the estate is settling this?
My role in this is a representative for the applicant. So I take the application through for them. The estate is the one that hired me to take this application through to the county.
Okay. Thank you. The public meeting, how was that held and where was that held? We had no notification of a public hearing.
We, and staff can verify this, because we had a public notice sign and sent mailing out to everybody within 1,320 feet by first class mail. And that meeting was, well, Greg had it already.
September 21st.
September 21st. And I had quite a few people that were on, it was a Zoom meeting. And I talked to a number of the neighbors, most of them in the Elkhorn Ranch subdivision. But that was all done per statute.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The parcel divide, how is that being divided? We have not seen a map on that. Is that being divided north, south, east, west, and then the secondary parcel with the new house, where will the driveway, will that access 194 or will it access Michael Gates?
They actually can access it from either one, Michael Gates or 194, just depending on where they want to do it. If they were going to access it from 194, it would be on the east side of the property, going up to it, and it's being split. There's a north portion and a south portion. So the south portion is, hold on a minute, I can tell you exactly what if I can read this. The measurements are, like I said, they're each one's 17.5 acres. And it's just about right in the middle that goes from east to west, above the house. And then the other portion is on the south side.
So the existing house being on the north section and the new parcel or a new development, new house would be on the south.
That's correct, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Greg, a picture of it right there. You
They
can
put
see
a picture up there for you.
Yes, thank you. So the only way the south portion would be able to access the property would be off of Michael Gates Drive.
It could also access off of 194. It just depends on what the new owner would want to do. because it could come up the east side of the lot number 1 where the house is, or up Michael Gates Drive. And the owner does have, there's an easement that goes up to it. And the owner actually owns that easement goes halfway to the middle of Michael Gates Drive. His ownership goes to the middle of Michael Gates Drive.
Correct. And that,
you know where the mailboxes are?
I do.
Yeah, it's just a little bit past the mailboxes, right up there. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments.
I think we have another hand up. I think Diana.
Yes, Dinah, impact fees are not applicable in this use. Once they build a home, just like any other residential use, there will be the standard residential growth impact fees. Yes, it's 4% cash in lieu open space fees of the appraised or sale value, whichever the applicant chooses to go with. That's part of the minor plat process. Tonight, we're taking a look at the rezone.
This is just the rezone tonight.
Yep.
But we understand fully what those impact fees are. There's growth impact fees, fire impact fees, school impact fees, road impact fees. And when we're doing a minor development where there's a house on one, and we split it, instead of 10%, it's 4%, and that's the county regulation. So 4% of whatever the appraised value of the south lot is. And we understand that fully.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions out there? Don't see anybody. Greg, you see anybody?
I do not. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to speak and haven't yet, please go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. All right, Danny, I'm not seeing any.
Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing none, do we have any questions up here?
I have one. The water letter, and I didn't see where this was all covered, but you know, it asks for a water supply plan. It asked to provide information on existing well permit, and I think I saw some you had up there on it, but I didn't see anything in the package on it. And then provide evidence that a decree has been approved by the water court. You know, those 3 items are in the end of the water letter from the Colorado Division of Water Resources.
Yes, as I stated, approximately 2 weeks ago, prior to that, let me just start there. The referee for the water court signed off on it. And then there's a 21-day referral period after the referee signs it to see if there's any objections. And there were no objections. And so the court issued their decree for the adjudication and augmentation plan about 2 weeks ago, and Greg has that in his file. I did send it last week, but somehow it didn't get caught. So I sent it to Greg again today, and Greg has that in his file.
Tom, can I get we just need to specify maybe a condition of approval that CDS gets a hard copy version of that?
Oh, not yet. That's fine. I can deliver one tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you.
Because I did email that to you today again. So, and Greg, you are in possession of that, correct?
Yes, I have it. And I believe Commissioner Hogendijk would like to have a paper copy of that.
Yeah, I will have it to you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
You need a condition? Are you okay with? If he's got it, the email, this way.
You got all those conditions.
You got the
covered in
email,
what-
right?
The
You got-
information you got.
Yes.
I'm okay. I was actually asking you the question, but Tom answered.
Okay. Yeah, I have the official PDF copy of it, and we'll just make sure to get a hard copy for the file.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Roger? No? Justin?
Nothing from me. Looks good.
Okay. All right. Can I entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the Linden rezone -20-0062 be approved with the 6 conditions that are listed.
I'll second that.
Got a second? Okay, got a motion from Peter, a second from. You did, Dan?
Danny, the applicant agrees to the conditions.
Okay. Thank you. All right, there are no additional conditions. Okay, we've got the ones that were on the application, so it would be as presented.
Yeah, the six that are listed.
6 that are presented.
And number 4 might not be required anymore. I don't know if you guys want to strike that or keep it. It's up to you. I can bring it up here.
If it's going to be covered, that's fine. Let's leave it as a condition and then just go with it.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Mr. Roney, thank you.
Thank you for staying so late.
Time is it? Oh, it's 9:30. Yeah.
Could have gone to 11.
Yeah, hey, I just want to tell you guys, you know where that 11 o'clock thing started? That started with me back in 2004 when I did Elkhorn Ranch, because we went till 4 o'clock in the morning. And the commissioner said, no more of this nonsense. So.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners. Have a wonderful evening.
Yep.
Thank you.